Taco time celebration for OUTRUN and Barrett in the month of April. April was added a unique challenge with the Tour to Everything is Canceled, which is a 21-day stage race. So 21 stages, that takes up 70% of the running days in the month.
So the way I described it was, it's set up like the Tour de France, where you've got, I think it was 21 stages, and every day the stage was a little different. Sometimes the mileage requirements were longer, and sometimes they're shorter.
And the distances change depending on whether you run road or trail.
It was really well spread out.
Yeah.
There was time to not recover because I was still running my ass off day.
Barrett ran all of the stages, and he managed to get 146 miles out of the Tour. So 57% of his 256 miles came from Tour runs, which means he was running them fast. I, on the other hand, took 3 penalty days and only managed to get 135 miles out of the Tour, which amounted to 52% of my 258 miles.
So for me, I actually really like long runs, the long sustained runs. That's sort of my favorite part of this whole gig. But in terms of simply building mileage for a week or a month, I think it is easier for me to string a bunch of small to medium distance runs together rather than biting off a couple really big ones. I think that is true both in terms of physically for me, being able to recover and get back out there quickly after a smaller run is easier. But also in terms of family time. The long runs take a lot of time away from the family, and they tend to eat up big chunks of the weekends. So for me, a lot of smaller to medium distance runs helps me build my mileage volume.
When you're trying to crank out a lot of mileage in a month, it's tough time-wise to try to fit it in either way. And certainly it's nice to be able to hit it with one big run and knock a bunch of mileage out. But I find the little runs really add up over time.
All right, just wrapped up 5 in the mountains. Body's starting to get pissed. I enjoyed that day off, but I found that I was just feverishly checking Strava, making sure Todd wasn't dropping some big mileage run on me. Anyway, here's to the next few stages and wrapping her up. Cheers.
I'm a big fan of rest days. I take them early and often. I think running on refreshed legs makes a world of difference, and that you can go further on it. So it's Earth Day, April 22nd, I think. And it's raining outside, and I've already run 8 miles, but Barrett ran 13 today, so I got to go back out and do at least another 5, maybe 6, just to do a little bit more. But I needed a dry shirt first, so I had to swing by the house and change real quick. I feel a little like a wet rat, so got my dry shirt on, went back out for another 6 miles, and I'm ready for a nice hot shower, probably a nice cold beer.
So here we are on the 28th of the month. I got 3 days left, and was not able to get out today. Life sort of was in the way, happening. That's okay. So I plan on going big tomorrow. Now in my mind, I'm like, I want to go really big, like maybe 40 miles or something. In reality, when I get out there, I don't know what I'm going to end up with, but it probably won't be 40 miles. But we'll see. I'll give it my best shot. I'm thinking about doing a day at Waiko. It did rain a little today. I'm not sure what that means for the trails, if they're going to be terrible. I'm not sure how much rain they got out there. But hopefully I can get around there a couple times and maybe, I don't know, put a good number on them. We'll see.
So I'm out running, and I normally don't check mileage of my competitors while I'm out running. I have a plan in place, and I just run it, and if they outrun me, that's fine. But I do check their mileage daily, and the plan may get adjusted accordingly. But tonight I was out running, and I thought, as I was coming back in, I gotta check Barrett and see what he's up to and what he's doing. And so I pulled up his run and saw that he did an 11-mile run, a little of that, which gave me the title, made it sound kind of weird. So I went ahead and looked, and he did a 9.6 miles. So he got 20 miles in. What? I got to do a few more miles. It's too close to the end of the month.
So the OUTRUN Todd challenge has come to an end, and I have failed. I failed by 2 miles. It's a little frustrating because during my run, I broke my last day into 3 different runs, 6 miles each. And actually, every run that I went on, I ended up feeling a little bit better. When I started in the morning, I felt terrible. I was tight, and it was early. I don't like getting up early. It was awful. But by the time I ran in the evening, I was feeling pretty good. And I almost talked myself into going an extra 2 or 4 just to end on a round number. Ultimately decided against it because I was, feeling some aches and pains. And I got a text from Todd saying, "Done, got 20, how'd you do?" And I had to write that I got 18. Made me very sad. But congrats to Todd. So one of the reasons that I had decided to go ahead and call my last run at 6 miles rather than pushing forward is I went back and looked at what he did to Peter and how he finished that challenge with I think it was a 40-mile run or something. And I had just kind of convinced myself that that's what he was doing. He hadn't posted anything on Strava all day. I had completely convinced myself he was out there running 40 or 50 miles, and I just knew that I didn't have 40 or 50 miles in me on the 30th. I probably could have gotten 20, maybe 24, but I wasn't going to go further than that, so I had just sort of acquiesced that he kind of had it in the bag. But then to see that he went 20, oh gosh, it stung a little. I just wish I would have pushed a little harder, but it's all right. It was awesome. Well, congrats, man.
Thanks, man.
Cheers to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been outrun.
I have been outrun.
Oh, you can keep it in this so
I
it stays
appreciate
nice
it.
all the way. Because you'll probably want to get like a frame for that.
Definitely, yeah. Certainly. I like to frame all my defeats.
Keep it somewhere where you see it every day so that you're like inspired to do better.
Right. So I have to know, were you just gonna run as much as you needed to?
That night?
Yeah.
No, 20 miles.
Were you done at 20 miles?
20 miles was, I don't know.
Seriously?
I seriously thought you had it. But 20 was the goal. So I ran 10 with him. And then I had to go back out and do another 10. It was dark. Everybody's sitting there having beers.
Oh.
And I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, why am I out doing this? And I almost texted you in the middle of it and was like, please tell me like you've run 16 tonight. Or like put me out of my misery. Like, don't make me run these last 5 or 6 miles.
Yeah.
Which would have been funny. But I was like, that felt like I was giving up. So I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
But
That's so funny. And I was so close.
I would have never anticipated this challenge would take us down into these territories. Like,
Yeah.
I love that I don't know what the other person's doing, feeling, yeah.
And I was so close to running 2 more. Because in my mind, I had run 18. I was like, I should just even decide I'm going to get 20.
Totally should have, yeah.
That's funny. I'm kind of glad it happened like that, actually. Where
How
it
come?
just was happenstance that it
Yeah.
was that close.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't just like you getting updates or watching Strava and like, okay, I'm done, I win.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it really was close.
Right.
Like, it legitimately was a close race.